think that the ballot language is accurate as far as it goes. But the ACLU, that's what they do. They sue.
The American Civil Liberties Union filed a lawsuit today claiming the ballot language on a measure to ban most abortions again is deceptive. Good evening, everyone. I'm John Murphy.
And I'm Evie Allen. Thank you so much for joining us. This lawsuit concerns a measure state lawmakers passed this year to put abortion back on the ballot. The proposed amendment would allow Missourians to vote to ban abortions except for in the cases of medical emergency, rape, or incest. Even in the cases of rape and incest, it would only allow abortions up to 12 weeks into a pregnancy. This is scheduled to appear on the November 2026 ballot. The ACLU is suing because of how the ballot measure will appear before voters and also claims it violates the single subject clause.
Komu 8's Charlotte Cicero is here to break down the lawsuit.
And that the Secretary of State, Denny Hoskins, is trying to confuse voters. As of now, he is currently
put forward what I would consider a middle ground, not between, no abortions at any time for any reason, which would be especially without safety considerations, which is kind of where we are now, the Wild West of abortion. And then as compared to no abortions at all, a total ban, which is what I think, some people fear.
In a statement, Planned Parenthood Great Plains President and CEO Emily Wales said, quote, "We're grateful to the ACLU for taking action to hold Missouri officials accountable. Voters deserve clear, honest ballot language, not political manipulation designed to overturn their will," end quote. The Missouri Secretary of State's office and the Missouri ACLU declined to interview with me today. The ACLU filed the lawsuit in Cole County this afternoon. In the studio, I'm Charlotte Cicero, KOMU 8 News.
All right, thank you, Charlotte. Missouri's court-appointed special advocates known as CASA is losing millions of dollars in state funding after Governor Mike Kehoe vetoed it. $500,000 would have funded a new facility for Heart of Missouri CASA in Columbia. CASA appoints court advocates to children who are abused or neglected. The facility would provide space for volunteer training, visits, and family support. The board chair for Heart of Missouri CASA says it might hurt the state more than help it because CASA helps children leave the foster system.
It costs about $30,000 a year to the state per child in foster care, as long as they're in foster care. That's how much the state spends to support a child in foster care.
CASA could get this funding back if there's a veto override in the September session. The House of Representatives is rushing to pass President Donald Trump's major funding bill after it passed in the Senate yesterday.
And nearly 900 pages long, the bill includes a sweeping mix of tax breaks, funding cuts, and hikes in spending on defense and immigration enforcement. Right now, the House is voting on a rule for floor consideration of the bill. Earlier today, Republican leaders struggled to gain enough support within their own party to move forward. While some House Republicans are supporting the bill, House Democrats oppose it because it extends tax breaks President Trump signed in 2017 while cutting funding to programs including Medicaid and food stamps.
Tax relief for working families, massive investments to secure our nation's borders, capturing generational savings.
At a time when most households are struggling to afford the basics, Republicans have a clear message for American families. You don't matter.
Republicans are working under a July 4th deadline imposed by Trump.
President Trump announced a trade deal with Vietnam. Vietnam was the 6th largest exporter of goods to the U.S. last year. Under the deal, goods shipped to the U.S. from Vietnam would face 20% tariffs. That's a reduction from Trump's original proposed 46% tariff. In exchange for lower tariffs, American companies will have to access to Vietnamese markets without facing tariffs. Vietnam has not confirmed if it agrees to the deal. Back in Missouri, Governor Mike Kehoe provided an update on disaster relief in the state. In St. Louis, National Guard members supported debris collection following the May 16th tornado. They've cleared the length of over 200 football fields worth of debris. Also, the Federal Emergency Management Agency allocated over $3.8 million to 750 households across Missouri following storms and wildfires on March 14th and 15th. And President Trump's major disaster declaration has provided $22 million to over 4,600 families in St. Louis.
We're looking at the radar because we did have a few sprinkles that tried to move through the region this evening. And I think some of these probably did reach the ground. No observed measurements coming in, but it was not much. It was just a few little renegades moving through. Temperatures now down to 73 in Eldon, 74 in Fulton, Herman, 72 in Montgomery City. Overall, it is a pretty comfortable evening across central Missouri. The clouds that we did see pop up and bubble up this afternoon, those are going to be decreasing. Temperatures in the upper 60s tomorrow morning, so a little bit warmer there. Heading into the afternoon, we'll continue to see lots of sunshine with temperatures making it to the upper 80s, 90s back with us for a few days, but rain chances are going to increase as we head into the weekend. So if you're headed to the lake, beware. We'll take a look at those rain chances coming up.
All right, thank you, Matt. Traffic and power are back to normal after downed lines closed part of Highway 63 in Columbia this afternoon. Boone County dispatchers sent an alert around 1:30 p.m. for fallen power lines near Grindstone Parkway. Columbia Water and Light reported 773 customers in the area were affected. Workers had all power restored by 5 p.m. A nearby business had to shut down early because it had no power.
We run our server on site, so when the power went down, our server went down and had to send the employees home for the afternoon because we really couldn't do anything without the power.
It's not clear what caused the down lines.
McNally's Irish Pub is at least the third downtown Columbia restaurant or bar to catch fire in less than 3 years. The pub attaches to Wise Guys Pizza and shares ownership. The Columbia Fire Department is continuing to investigate the cause of yesterday's fire. Today, there are boards covering all the doors and caution tape is still lingering. A former general manager was too emotional to talk on camera, but says the memories will always last, but the place may not.
Unconditional love for every single one of our peers and chosen family. I am deeply saddened writing this, knowing that there's a possibility we'll never set foot inside of those walls again. We will always have the memories, but yesterday marks the date of an ending of an era for the McNally's and Wise Guys family.
As for the other downtown fires, Teller's reopened last year after a fire in 2023. Noodles and Company on 9th Street was not able to reopen after a fire there 3 years ago. No one was inside McNally's yesterday morning when the fire started. We will continue to bring you updates when we learn anything new. And the 4th of July is less than 2 days away, which means Missouri roads are dotted with many tents selling fireworks.
That's right. KMU8's Eva Linner shows us how one family who sells fireworks continues to celebrate despite the difficulties they face. Eva?
You might buy fireworks from the vendors on the side of the road, but rarely do you get to hear their story. The Franklin family runs 3 firework tents in the area, and their story is filled with resilience and living life to its fullest. The 4th of July is more